Hello all and welcome to another video in the series of Rimworld mods for 1.5. I'd like to start by giving out a huge thanks to everyone who's been watching the video so far, liking, subscribing, commenting. Your support has been fantastic and I'm eternally grateful for that. So thank you guys very, very much. And on that note, if you have been watching the video so far and you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. It not only supports me, but it also means you won't miss any future videos. But I think that's enough yapping so far, so let's get on and look at some mods. CM Color Coded Mood Bar by Crash M is a mod that gives you a lot more detail at a glance of your colonists. As you can see, my colonists look a bit different than yours might do, or definitely different in the vanilla. In vanilla, the mood bars that are behind the colonists are a very similar shade to the actual background box. So sometimes at a quick glance, you look over there and it's kind of difficult to see who's happy and who's sad. As you can see, we'll go through the options in a second. I'll show you the different options you have available for this mod. But we can see that these guys, and I know blue's very good, green's maximum happiness, and it goes all the way down to red for extreme breaks. There are also some symbols here. I'll go through them as well when we look through the mod options themselves. So here we are in the mod options, and as you can see by going up and down this list here, it is not just about the color behind their portraits. Now we do have the colours here going from a red for extreme break down to green for, I guess, an extreme happiness, a maximum mood. You can change these if you want, but I keep them default. But yeah, up to you what you want to do with those. Maybe for colourblind people, you might have to change it for different, kind of like a hue to make it easy for yourself. But yeah, I keep them default on there. There are different options to turn off or on. As you can see, I've got two things up here. These are relationship icons, which is the one I've got enabled here. And this shows you that these two are married. They also have it, if you're in a relationship with people, it'll just show two different symbols, but they'll be different colours. So if you had like 10 colonists and there were two separate couples, they'd have a symbol at the top there. They'd be matching colours with whoever they're in a relationship with. There's also things like the bleeding icon here, which will show a blood mark on the portrait if they are bleeding. Small one for a small bleed, larger one if they are in a bit more of an emergency situation. We also have things like temperature. So if they're too hot or too cold, a thermometer will appear on their character, and you know if they need to go somewhere to cool down or to heat up, or maybe you need to make some armor or clothing for them, which is going to actually help them survive in the region where you currently are. And we have other stuff like cryptotic icons. So if someone happens to be in a casket, it'll have a symbol on there to show you that they're locked away and you don't have to necessarily worry about them. And yeah, illness icons as well. So if you get like a quick plague and it pops up at the right as a plague, a symbol will appear on everyone on the top here who actually has that disease, and you can go accordingly with that. So as you can see, we've got Chris here, poor Chris, who has been shot in the stomach and has contracted the plague at the same time. Very unfortunate for Chris. But as you can see there, plague minor, gunshot wound. And at the top of the here, we have got ourselves a biohazard symbol in red, and we've got the bleed mark here. So that means they're bleeding out, need to be tended. And this means that they're behind on their infection or, you know, illness, disease, that kind of thing. If they catch up a little bit, it goes to yellow. And if they're beating the infection or disease quite well, it'll be green. So it also not only tells you who's got the problems, but kind of like how far along they are and how close they are to like dying or maybe getting over it. And then Marco over here has got a bit cold. He's got hypothermia. So as you can see up top left there, there's a nice little cold thermometer. It'll be red if they were too hot. But I thought I'd show a couple examples of how this mod works, and I would 100% recommend it for everyone. Trader Ships by Automatic. With the Trader Ships mod, rather than having to interact with all traders via the comms console, they will instead land a ship on your map, which you can interact with like a regular trade caravan. And here we go, as an example, we have a trade ship landing right next to our base. So rather than having to go to a comms console, after obviously researching and building one, we can just talk to these guys like a regular trade caravan. And because they've arrived on our map like a regular trader, we haven't got to worry about building trade beacons down here in every part of our stockpile. So we have access to all of our stockpile when we're trading. The Trader Ships mod also gives you access to a different kind of quest that you wouldn't normally get. So, you know those quests where you have a town that's a few days travel away? They ask you to make them like 10 t-shirts. Then you got to make them, travel over there, get your reward, come back. Well, they do a similar kind of quest with this mod. Although instead of having to like going anywhere, the trade ship will land nearby, not on your map. They'll request certain items. You'll make them. You send them a message so that they're done. They'll land on your tile and you'll hand them over. Fulfill the trade offer. Now, You get a lot less time than a normal quest. I think normal ones can be like 15 to 20 days to do. This one, you get about 4 days to do it. So it's a bit of a quicker turnaround. But if you can do it, it's worth very good resources. And not only that, but you also get a trade ship land on your tile, which you can still use as a regular trader. So let's go and talk to the trade ship like a regular trade caravan. I've left this bit to last for a very specific reason. Because when we go over to this trade ship, you're going to see a different UI than you'd expect. This is going to seamlessly transition into the next mod. Trade UI revisited by Hoptuk. Now, as you can see, our trade UI is a lot cleaner than you get in vanilla. So here we've got our stuff on the left, trader stuff on the right, nice and simple. Whereas in vanilla, you have just one long list and it's got a mixture of your stuff, the trader stuff, but not like top and bottom. It's just all interlaced with each other. It can sometimes be a bit of a challenge to work out what's yours, what's the traders. So having it like this, I think, is a lot more clean and it just makes sense. It should really be a vanilla thing straight away, I think, but maybe that's just me. Metals Trader by Big Veach. So to complete this little trilogy of trade mods, we have the Metals Trader. Now this one gives you different resources that other traders don't, and in massive amounts. So as we can see here, there is a lot of resources that they turn up with. Over 1,000 components, quite a few advanced components compared to a normal trader, and thousands of other resources. Is it overpowered? I mean, it gives you the access to them, so I guess it kind of is, but you still want to be able to pay for them. Like, how much is 1,000 components? 1,000 components, pretty easy to math out really, it's 43,000 roughly. 42,784. You can't afford that. It might give you access to it, but you can't necessarily buy it. But the reason you might want this mod is when you're doing late game, maybe you're building the ship, maybe you're starting to build some heavy armor and guns, you need loads of plasteel, loads of advanced components. You have to normally drill up loads of stuff, or maybe do long range scanning, go mining. This just fills in the gap where if you can make money elsewhere, you can use silver to buy the resources rather than go around trading about 10 different faction bases and drilling up stuff. You can just, like, you know, get your money from drugs or art or just some other way and just buy the resources, because there's a lot of stuff and things are very expensive late game. So it kind of like fills the gap there as well. And they do turn up with a lot of silver as well. And the good news is, I don't have much in the way of a stockpile zone, but they do buy quite a lot of stuff that other traders might not buy. They buy clothing and stuff, and there's a lot of random items, body parts and stuff they would buy. Not weapons, unfortunately. Maybe some weapons, but maybe just not some primitive stuff. But yeah, lots of money with them as well, so you can like get a good bit of cash. So I guess, yeah, maybe a little bit overpowered, but you still need the money to be able to buy the stuff. So yeah, I think it's just a good addition for late game Rimworld. My Little Planet by Ignis. At the start of a playthrough, when you are creating your world, all you need to do is get the slider down to tiny, and when you generate your planet, as you can see here, it looks the same size as a big planet, but the actual world itself is smaller. So if you know the sections, look how big the sections are compared to the planet that they normally would be. Now, why would you want to do this, you may ask? Reason one would be that the biomes are quite close together. So if you wanted to have a kind of Rimworld run where you're experiencing all the different types of biomes in one run, maybe you want to do like a move around camping kind of run. You could, like, say if we're here, for example, you go from temperate forest, boreal forest to tundra to desert in like about 5 different sections. It's not too far from the ice sheet, and it also got arid shrubland down here as well. So yeah, if you wanted to move around, have like a caravanning kind of like run, that would be ideal. Reason 2 would be the fact that there's only one base per faction on the planet. This means that if you want to do some kind of playthrough where you're going around destroying everyone's base and want to have be the last person standing on the planet, it's a lot easier to do with this kind of run. It's not far to travel, and 2, yeah, like it's only one base to destroy before you've wiped out a faction. So yeah, for that kind of playthrough, it's ideal. And reason 3, and probably the most important reason, and that is for performance. A smaller world means better overall game performance. So if you've got an older computer, or maybe a processor struggling, or maybe you've got 300 mods on, if you want to have any kind of help with that, the My Little Planet is going to help you have a slight bit more improved performance, which might make your game run a bit nicer. Misc Robots by Haplo X1 and Misc Robots ++ by Cab Mumu. The standard Misc Robots mod normally gives you just a cleaner and a hauler, which are great in themselves. You can craft them, you can buy them from traders. With the Misc Robots Plus Plus edition though as well, you get extra ones as well. So we get a crafter, we've got a builder, we've got an ER, we've got a kitchen and an Omni. So the crafter shockingly crafts things. The builder will not only do building, deconstruction, that kind of stuff, but it will also do mining. The ER will do operations, will tend people, will rescue people, and will put out fires. The kitchen one will cook for you, butcher, and will do the gardening as well. And the Omnibot does everything. So not only does the Misc Robots Plus Plus add different types of robots, but it adds a tier system for them as well, all the way from level 1 to level 5. So a level 1 robot has 4 skill in its chosen area. So our crafting bot here, for example, is a level 1. So it has 4 skill in crafting. So not very good for crafting weapons and armor, but for making stone blocks and stuff, that's not too bad. We have the kitchen bot here, level 3, which means 12 skill in cooking and planting, which is pretty decent. And we've got the level 5 hauler, level 1 cleaner. With these two, it affects their speed and how fast they move and how fast they do the job itself, but nothing much else. The Omnibot does every single job, so you got to be careful because a level 1 has got 4 skill in everything, so it might try to do some crafting jobs. You don't want to do it, so you have to set your bills. So if you had like a level 20 skill level 5 crafter bot, you want that crafting, but you wouldn't want the level 4 Omnibot to go in and do that, so you'd have to make sure you set your bills up accordingly. Okay, so I've just set up some jobs for them to do. So hopefully when I turn them on activate, they're going to go. Yes, there we go. ER bot, nothing to do. There's no fire to put out, no one to rescue. But I've set up a few jobs. So what we got here? The hauling bot is going to go and grab a dead body, maybe? Okay, cool. Yeah, why not? We've got the Omnibot doing some deconstruction here. We've got the kitchen bot cutting down some trees for us. I don't know where they all are, but we have the robot thing here. So where currently is the crafter bot? The crafter bot is getting some steel slag, so they can do that for us. So obviously the great benefit to using these bots instead of the biotech ones is that these don't generate waste. The waste packs is probably the biggest downside. Also, I find the biotech ones, unless you really buff them up and yourself up with your mechanator later on, they're really slow at doing the work. So yeah, I'd rather use these bots. Are they overpowered? Possibly. They're very expensive to get the highest level ones. And very expensive to buy from traders. But if you want to have like a really big colony, or if you want to not worry about having all your people take care of everything, maybe you want to send a lot of squads out to do raids and stuff and trade a lot of time. You haven't got necessarily the skill level and the people inside the base most of the time to take care of the day-to-day running. Having these kind of bots is very useful. I mean, even if you don't just take the plus version and you just have the hauling bots and the cleaning bots, that'll save you a lot of time and keep your base looking very nice. OgreStack by Ogre. OgreStack gives you full customization of how big you can make your stacks. By default, things like steel and other resources would stack in 75. So if you had, for example, 150 steel, it will take up 2 slots on your shelves, 2 75s. With this mod, you can adjust it. By default, it turns into 1,000, which is quite a lot. I think I normally play on mid, so like 750, and adjust all of them by the defaults here, lows there as well. But you can just type in your own number if you wish, if you think that maybe 500 is still too much to have stacks of raw resources. Let's change it to 200 instead, and it'll work like that. So the reason to kind of do this is to make your stockpile zone a bit tidier, keep things all together. Because if you had like 10,000 steel in your stockpiles you've been drilling or buying from the metals trader maybe, then they'd be in stacks of 75. All the way up to like how much of that will be for like 10,000 steel, which basically fill up all your stockpile. It's kind of nice just to have them in like a few less stacks, okay? So if they're in stacks of 1,000, it would be 10 stacks versus however many 75 goes into 10,000. A lot. 133 or something stacks. That's quick maths. I don't know if that's right, but you can tell me in the comments if I'm right. Something like that. So yeah, I like it for that reason. It keeps your base a bit tidier. If you do it in conjunction with other storage mods as well, it works quite nicely. I haven't got that on this mod list, but I'll show you probably the stockpile mods that I use in a future video. Optimization Meats by Seo Hyen. With this mod, it condenses down all the different types of raw meat to just strictly raw meat. Obviously, we still have human meat, insect meat, and twisted meat that's separate from Anomaly if you're not familiar. Raw meat is normally you'd have like raw alpha beaver meat, raw warg meat. There'd be like 20 to 50, I don't know, all different types of animals that you can butcher in Rimworld. You'd have different types of raw meat, and they'd all stack separately as well. So with this mod, it just makes some raw meat. It's nice and simple. I like it just to save space in your freezers, because, you know, even if you've got like a stack mod on, they're going to be stacking separately anyway. So yeah, 100%, I'd recommend doing this. The only real downside is, I think, if you've got like pigskin people and you butcher a boar, it could still strictly be cannibalism if they eat the raw meat that way. And I think I've had that happen before. But that's very niche kind of thing that doesn't really happen. So just maybe if you've got pigskins and you use this mod, don't butcher pigs. That might be the answer. Doors expanded by Brother Oats. As you can see here on our structure tab, we have loads of different types of doors that this mod adds. So we have a 2x1 wooden door if you want to, or a 3x1. Same with auto doors. We have jail doors, cloth curtains for tribal. So you have a 1, 2 or 3 wide curtain instead of a regular door if you wanted to. We also have wooden gates if you want to go a bit more medieval. And we've also got blast doors as well, and remote doors, which are quite cool. Now, that's fantastic in itself. But the main reason why I love this mod is the door buttons / levers. So let me show you how this works. So you've got a door here, an auto door, has to be a powered door, so it actually connects. And we have a lever down here. So if I was to go to connect to a button or lever, click that, and then that. Now they're connected together. It's a bit fiddly though, I will say, and that is a change I think they have made. Normally you would press a button or you would pull a lever and the door would open and it would stay open. But it doesn't seem to work that way anymore for some reason. So if I wanted to open a door and keep it open, things are going through it now, but we click hold open there and then we can use the lever and it would hold it open and then they just carry on the day. So that's now held open. But now let's say, for example, that a manhunter pack is coming in. This door's very close, so normally we could just run there ourselves. But let's say, for example, the base was quite big and the entrance I want to close is up here and a manhunter pack arrives over here. And we haven't got the time to go up there and just close it normally. All we have to do now is click on the door, don't hold it open anymore, and then go to the lever, pull the lever again, and as you'll see, the door closes nice and quickly. So the manhunter pack therefore won't see anyone. We'll have to stop targeting you and then we'll just hang outside your base quite normally, which is it's basically the main reason why I have this mod. They have made it a bit different. Like I said earlier, normally it was like press the button, pull the lever, it opens and stays open, and then you just reverse it and it'll close. But now it seems like you have to actually select hold open as well. You can also secure it remotely, so no one can go through the door unless that thing is pushed. So that is the one thing you can do. There's also a little fun thing you can do, and I've done this before. I've had, I won't build it right now for you guys, but I think I had like 5 doors on one side, 5 on another, because you can have multiple linked to one lever or button. And I had flame turrets behind each one. And when a raid came through, someone pulls the lever, 10 doors open with flames behind them, and just sets the raiders on fire. And you can close them again quickly if you want. That's quite a fun little way to use it. But yeah, the doors themselves are pretty good, but I just like it for the remote access so we can allow doors to be open and closed, mainly closed in the event of a manhunter pack. Simple Warrants by Cleverix. You get access to the Warrants tab down the bottom. Once we click on it, we can see the public warrants first off. And this has different warrants that other factions have placed for things or people. As you see here, Leopard over here is wanted for torture by these people. If I kill them, no reward. If I capture them and take them back to them, we get that reward, which is quite nice. You can have items on here as well, and sometimes they want you to hunt specific animals. And if you take that quest, they'll give you a location. You can go there and you can get the animal. But yeah, it's easy when they don't mind if you kill them, but you have to be very careful you don't kill them. Otherwise, you know, this one here, you'd lose all the money. Now you can also do your own warrants as well. So you can either do it for people, you can get animals if you want a specific animal for some reason, or if you want artifacts. So let's say, for example, we've got someone who's just died, or someone who's dying, or someone's got a brain injury, let's say. We can look for a healer mech serum. Boom. And then we can say how much we want to pay for it. So the value of a healer mech is 1,300 silver. The more money we put down for it, the faster a faction will come back with it. So if I did 1,300, maybe it'll take 10, 20 days or something. If I did 10,000, it may take a couple of days. So yeah, it's a good way of getting Helium X, Resurrector Serums, maybe even Persona Cores, you know, for the ship ending if you want. One really good thing you can do with this mod as well is you can get your own colonists back. Say if you got raided and one of your people got kidnapped and you didn't want to wait around to maybe get a quest to retrieve them in the future, you can just put a warrant out on them. So you say, for example, this person, let's say this was our person, Pillar Schmidt. Yep, I want them. They were our colonists, but they got stolen from us. We can say capture, don't put death on here. Set a good high price. Again, the higher price you put it, the faster they'll get them back to you. And then put your own reason in there. It used to be a selection box, but they've actually updated it to have your own reason. So we miss you. That would be our reason. And then we can go click create warrant, and then eventually it'll tell you that a faction has accepted it, and then it'll turn up with them in the future. There is a slight danger, however, when they are bringing back a person to your tile that you created a warrant on. I've had people getting brought back, but because they're always injured when they bring them back, because that's like the story of them getting captured, they are often bleeding, and I've had people bleed out while getting carried from the edge of the map back to my base. And yeah, I feel a bit hard done by, but that is a possibility. So it's not always perfect, but most of the time it's pretty good. And in the past, I have tailored a run around this mod. I have made us bounty hunters. So yeah, we just constantly checking the public warrants that are available. When one's available, whether it's be an animal or a person, we get a little squad together and go off as bounty hunters. And it's quite a fun way to play. So I would recommend it for that as well. Well, that's a few more quality of life mods for Rimworld 1.5, and I hope you found the video useful. If you did, don't forget to chuck a like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, feel free to do so you can catch some in the future. Also, let me know in the comments if there are any other mods I should be looking at, or if you downloaded any of the mods that I've mentioned today. And down below in the description will be links to all these mods that I've mentioned today. Also, my Twitch is down there if you want to jump on and check a stream, and my Discord if you want to join and chat about Rimworld. But from me, thank you guys very much for watching again, and thank you for the support again. You guys have been great. I'll see you in the next one.